Welcome to Gen X Unfiltered. We're the Toronto Blue Jays, the best team of the 90s. Grab a drink, grab a snack, and let's go back. Welcome back to another podcast episode, I guess it is. We're still getting used to that.
Yes, episode 3.
3. Are we sure we want to commit to 3 in case we do these out of a different order? We'll say 3.
It's episode 3.
Whatever episode you're listening to, this was the third one we recorded.
That's right.
We start out with a good plan and then we kind of go, to the wayside. But today we are talking about something really fun that I haven't even thought about in so many years because our teams now.
Yeah, it's been a minute since the team has been as good as we remember.
We're talking about the Toronto Blue Jays and their amazing back-to-back World Series in the 90s.
That's right, go Blue Jays.
Go Blue Jays.
They were a great team back then.
Were they?
They were.
They were really good.
No,
they went
were.
back to back. Like, how many teams can say they went back to back?
Well, just for anybody out there listening that doesn't know who the Toronto Blue Jays are, which
Trusty.
Look at our
notes
history
down
books.
Which if
Went into the archives.
If you don't, then okay, you guys are missing out. But some quick little information, backstory on the Toronto Blue Jays. Some of the stuff that I didn't even remember.
Yeah, I know. Going through some of the notes you had here, I was like, I forgot about that stuff.
All right, so really quickly, the Toronto Blue Jays are a Canadian professional baseball team based in Toronto. The Blue Jays compete
Name checks out.
The Blue Jays compete in Major League Baseball as a member of the American League East Division. I knew that.
Yeah, I knew that, yeah.
I knew that.
Full disclosure, you were a junior J, so you should know all this already.
Shh, Eric will get there.
Oh, sorry.
We have lots to talk about today, so, make sure you have that drink and snack. An expansion franchise, the club was founded in Toronto in 1977. They're the second MLB franchise to be based outside the United States and currently the only team based outside the U.S. after the first Canadian franchise, the Montreal Expos, RIP, became the Washington Nationals in 2005.
That's right, I missed the Expos. I never got a chance to see the Expos play live.
At least
No.
UP found you at home.
Yeah, at least they didn't just disappear.
Is that where he's from?
Yeah.
he's
the
sorry,
Expos.
He's at UP,
UP, he's the Expos mascot.
Now he's the Montreal Canadiens.
That's right, the Montreal Canadiens inherited him. They adopted him. He was homeless. They left him on the streets.
St. Catherine Street is Roman.
That's right.
All right. Okay. I had no idea. That's a good fun fact. I had no idea. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, the Blue Jays went through struggles typical of an expansion team, frequently finishing last in their division. Wah, wah.
It's always fun when your team's last.
I know.
In 1983, they had their first winning season and 2 years later became division champions. From 1985 to 1993, the Blue Jays were an AL East powerhouse, winning 5 division championships in 9 seasons, including 3 consecutive from 1991 to 1993.
Yeah, you forget how good these guys were.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, because typically aren't new teams kind of like, it takes a good decade for them to really...
It does.
It depends.
It depends on the sport and stuff like that. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at like hockey, where they now
True.
have the
expansion draft.
The expansion draft. So look, the Vegas Golden Knights have already won the Stanley Cup.
True.
Yeah.
And that was like their second season.
Yeah.
Or some of that. Like
So right out of the gate, they were like a powerhouse.
their fan base is spoiled. Don't get used to it. Talking to
No.
Canadians fans, it's been
Talk
a
to a
long
Leafs
time.
fan.
Talk to a Leafs fan in 1967 is a long time
You
ago.
guys were talking about baseball.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's right.
Back to baseball. Back to baseball. It's fine.
Baseball's my jam. They're hockey guys, so...
Yeah, I like baseball, but definitely more of a hockey guy. It's actually exciting though too. If I was watching, I follow the Jays on Facebook, and today they're all showing up in Dunedin, Florida, or wherever are they still in Dunedin? But
Yeah.
spring training started.
That's what kind of inspired the topic for today, because spring training started. It's a month and 6 weeks out to opening season.
Pitchers
so
and catchers.
That's right.
Stop it.
Oh gosh, do you guys want to hear the rest of my little thing?
Yeah. Go into history. I'm here for history lesson.
I worked so hard on.
Hit the print button on Wikipedia.
Yeah. Did you like to cite your sources here?
It's not school, okay?
Okay.
Before I say this next fact, do you guys remember obviously where the Jays initially started playing? It was not what we call the Sky Dome today.
No, good old Exhibition Stadium.
Yeah, it was the jank. If anybody's ever on TikTok, click and search Exhibition Stadium. It was so janky.
Fun fact though, if you go down there now to the parking lot, you can still see the bases. Like they marked the bases in the parking lot where they tore it down.
That's super cool.
They're still there. Yeah.
But it was a janky stadium.
Oh yeah. It was awful.
Wasn't it like on pavement or something like that too? Like
Yeah.
or something like it was awful. Yeah.
Yeah, it was designed to be like a multi-purpose field.
Because it had the
football, the Argos,
and
the Toronto
stuff there.
Argos.
There's some aerial shots of it.
Yeah.
I've seen online.
It's
It was
awful.
like
It's like, what?
It looks so weird.
There's no stands in right field, I think. And it's like...
It was like literally a baseball diamond in the middle of like a football field.
Yeah.
It's like,
So, really quickly, though, Eric, did you ever go to a game at Exhibition Stadium?
I didn't. I never got to Exhibition Stadium.
Steve?
I did once when I was like, I must have been like 6 or 7.
You're dating yourself.
Yeah, no, it was a long time ago. But I did go to one game.
I did go as well. Again, I think it was with my T-ball team. They had tickets because I don't know if many people were buying tickets to go to the Jays back then. Probably they were a new team, so probably the excitement of it.
Well, at that point, yeah, I mean they were a team. I can't remember. They obviously weren't that good at this point, based on the history you just gave us. They were still struggling.
Just wait, it gets better. It gets better. Spoiler alert: they won World Series.
Is that the end?
No.
Oh.
Okay, really quickly, I'll get on because I don't want to bore anybody. In 1989, the Blue Jays' new retractable roofed home Sky Dome
Always
opened
Sky Dome. Always it is Sky Dome. I don't care what you say. What they
Never,
name it, it's
never
always
the
Sky
Rogers
Dome.
Center.
Yeah.
It is open mid-season. It also marked the beginning of an extremely successful 5-year period for the team. In May, management fired manager Jimmy Williams and replaced him with dun 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 Cito Gaston.
The man.
Gaston?
I know. I want to say Gaston, like Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. Gaston, yeah.
Who was the team's hitting instructor. The club had a dismal 12-24 record at the time of the firing, but went 77-49 under Gaston to win the AL East title by 2 games.
That is crazy to go from 12-24.
Yeah.
That is a horrible record to winning the AL East. That is nuts.
Fred McGriff's 36 home runs led the AL.
Oh, Fred McGriff. That's
I
a name
miss
I've heard.
him.
The crime dog.
Yeah, I haven't heard that name in forever.
No.
Here's another name. On May 28th, George Bell's walk-off home run off of Chicago White Sox closer Bobby Thigpen marked the end of the Exhibition Stadium era.
George Bell, what a name. All these guys forget about them, but what,
Yeah.
a way to end
I
this,
know.
what a nice way to end, though, with a home run.
So the first game at the new stadium took place on June 5th, and we lost.
That's the best way to
Way to launch the new stadium.
Yeah, so they put a curse on it then that day.
Yeah.
Cast a spell of
Fun story about well, it's not a fun story, but do you guys remember back when it would have been in the 80s, late 80s, the CN Tower did this thing called Tour of the Universe?
Yeah.
Yep, I remember.
I was
Tour of
on
the
that.
Universe. Yeah,
Yes.
I did that.
I don't know why, but I think every kid went to that. I went with my parents, but when I went, I remember it because the Sky Dome was still being built, because the CN Tower is right beside the Sky Dome.
Yeah.
So I remember going down there and seeing like the construction of the Sky Dome. My dad being like, "That's where the Blue Jays are going to play," because I didn't understand at the time.
As a
but-
kid, you're kind of my sister had a friend whose dad was like an engineer, or something, working on the Sky Dome.
Yeah, it was a big
We worked
deal.
for the company that built it or something like that. Yeah.
It was a
it
big
was
deal.
a huge deal. The whole retractable roof thing, that was the first time ever.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was an engineering marvel at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
No.
only thing I was saying, I saw a video. I think I was talking to you about this like the other day. I saw someone post. I think someone posted a video online of the Sky Dome opening.
Yeah.
I had no idea that the third piece of the roof actually moved.
Neither did I.
I thought the two
it was
ends were stationary, but the one of them actually slides underneath, so it's completely open.
That's the engineering marvel.
I had
Well-
no idea. I was like, oh, I don't know if I've ever seen it.
In
I'm sure I have. I just never clued in.
In 1989, it was a engineering miracle, but now
Marvel.
people
Engineering
marvel.
marvel.
But now people are kind of like, about the
Well,
Sky Dome. But that's for a different topic.
Jack
for
of all trades,
concerts.
master of
Yeah.
none. That's the problem. They made
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's for like any sport, any concert, and it's
I
Yeah.
know. So continuing on in 1990, the Blue Jays had another strong season, but finished second, 2 games behind Boston.
oh, those damn Red Sox.
But things start getting a little interesting now. This is
Tell me.
where
What happens?
where the bricks are being laid for these World Series. Did I say that right? The bricks are being laid.
Yeah, I think so.
Cement poured.
Sure.
A
I
good
don't know.
metaphor.
Yeah.
During the offseason, the Blue Jays made one of the 2 biggest trades in franchise history, sending all-star shortstop Tony Fernandez and first baseman Fred McGriff to the San Diego Padres in exchange for outfielder Joe Carter and second baseman Roberto Alomar.
That was a big trade for the Jays. Those
That
were
was a
two
big
key.
trade.
Core
Yeah,
players
those
gone.
two guys, Roberto Alomar and Joe Carter. Yeah, they.
They also...
This Joe Carter guy better pan out.
we'll have to wait and see. The Jays also obtained center fielder Devon White.
Devo.
He was like the fastest runner to first base or something at some point. He was like one
I
of the
remember he was
fastest.
really speedy. Yeah, he's quick.
He was. They were all, spoiler alert, instrumental in the team's future success.
Oh yeah, like is it these guys' names? Like they're like Jays royalty.
Oh,
They
yeah.
are.
Like their names are up. You know, you go to like you say, you go to the Sky Dome, and their names. What do they call it? The level of excellence or whatever
Yeah.
they have. Their
Yeah.
where the names are.
They're
They're
all
all
in
up
there.
there. These guys and
and
stuff
each,
like that.
each one of them have their own individual, huge highlight from the World Series as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
Oh,
Like they
yeah.
all were like big
Yeah,
players.
like Devon
yeah.
White had the catch against the wall, and like Joe Carter obviously.
Don't spoiler
Joe
alert,
Carter.
right?
Yeah.
I
Joe,
won't tell you what happens.
They want to know if he was a good picker-upper or not.
a good picker upper.
I can't remember the word. Acquired. I don't know.
A good pick, a good trade.
We gotta leave something for people to be waiting for. Alrighty then.
Don't ever be a baseball scout.
No.
Yeah.
Ken's
Yeah.
here, the
Picker-upper?
baseball is looking for a good picker upper.
So they all proved to be extremely effective, and the Jays again won the division in 1991. Once again, however, the team fell short in the postseason, losing to the Minnesota Twins,
Minnesota.
who were well on their way to the second World Series victory in 5 seasons. Well,
Yeah, I remember
mean,
Minnesota had a good team
they
back in the day.
did.
Yeah.
Kirby
Yeah.
Puckett, all those
Paul
guys.
Molitor.
Paul Molitor, yeah.
Yeah.
Who ended up, I'm sure it's in here, but ended up coming to our team.
Just kidding.
Spoiler alert.
But here's a really fun fact, and I thought this was really cool because, again, we always think of our teams as like nobody really cares except for us in like Ontario type deal.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess that didn't really make sense what I said. But anyway, here is a fun fact that
Shocking.
I thought was interesting. In 1991, the
Yeah.
Blue Jays became the first major league club ever to draw over 4 million fans in one season.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's crazy. The first team
That's
ever.
insane.
But the biggest difference, and you hear a lot of players talking about this that come to Toronto, because they're the only team in the country. You have
True.
the entire country cheering for you. It's not just
True.
Toronto and like the
Yeah.
surrounding area. You have the entire country.
Like when we
same
had-
with the Raptors, they say the same thing. Like these guys come up there, like it's totally different because
Like when we
Yeah.
had Montreal Expos, like it was kind of
even
It was
it was
divided,
still
yeah.
two
Yeah.
teams, but
More
now it's
divided.
just one, right? And like they said with the Raptors too, like it's hockey, it's a little different because like if you're a Toronto fan,
yeah.
you know,
You
then you
stick
go
to the
down the
Leafs.
road, they got Montreal,
Yeah.
you go to Ottawa, you know,
Oh,
out
there's
west.
tons of teams.
It's not quite the same, but yeah, it's like they're the only baseball team in the country, so like any baseball fan is pretty much cheering for the Jays.
So before we get to the guts of the facts or whatever it's called, thanks Wikipedia. At this point in time, if you guys remember, were you Jays fans already?
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
I was a Jays fan. I had like this is going way back. Ernie Witt was in a McDonald's commercial,
Yes.
and he was giving away Blue Jays baseball hats, and I was like, I had to have one. I actually got one, official Ernie Witt Blue Jays baseball hat from McDonald's.
Do you still have
I
it?
do actually.
Why didn't you bring it so we could
I-
show the
Oh,
people?
I think it's at my
Yeah.
parents' house.
Oh no.
I might actually have it. Maybe I have it at my place. I don't know.
That's
Wow.
hilarious.
Ernie
Yeah.
Witt was the shiz.
Yeah, that was my lucky
Ernie
hat.
Witt, yeah.
Ernie Witt. What about you? Were you a fan?
Yeah, I followed the Jays. Like I wasn't a huge fan, but yeah, I watched them. I paid attention to them more so as I got older. But definitely I had like Jays shirts and
Yeah.
I remember I had a couple of posters and stuff like that. I had a bunch of stuff after their stuff we're gonna get into.
I grew up in a family, like my dad and my grandpa always watched the Toronto Blue Jays. So I grew up watching them from very young.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that kind of like right around the World Series and after, like that kind of, I was like what some may call a super fan.
Well, and that's where
Whoa.
Eric sort of touched on at the beginning. Like you were,
Yeah. I have stories that maybe we'll get into here, but
Whoa.
super
Real
fan.
stories?
Super fan. I
Whoa.
mean,
you get the nitty gritty.
do you guys remember the Hostess chip bags would have the little stickers of the
Oh,
Blue Jays
yeah.
players?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I
remember
had
those.
them plastered all over my door. My parents were so mad
I
at
had
me.
the wrestling ones.
I had those ones. Yeah,
I
they
had
were
those over
great.
my lunchbox.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you guys remember the like? At one point, didn't McDonald's give out the hats that you could eat out
No,
of?
that was Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
remember
With
they
the
it was like a little baseball, like a little batter's helmet. And you get a
I
Sunday in it.
was even like, I had all the baseball cards. I got baseball
McDonald's had
cards.
baseball cards. Remember those? McDonald's Blue Jay baseball cards?
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
World Series years? Yeah.
And then I even like I was the nerdy kid that because back then not all the games were televised, or like we could get
No,
like they
no,
would
it
be
was
on
a lot,
blackouts.
not like it is now. Yeah.
So I would listen on the radio and I'd be like one of
Whoa,
those.
That's hardcore fan.
I know. I'd be like one of those little old men. No shame to the little old men that you see at like the baseball games that are writing the stats and listening
Oh
to
yeah,
the
you
radio.
see them. They listen to the radio and like writing it down. I give them props.
That was
Yeah.
me as a kid. I had a book of stats for every game. Oh, I wish I had those still.
A bunch of like hearts around
Yeah.
Kelly.
Kelly Kelly Gruber.
Kelly Gruber. I was totally blanking. I was gonna say Kelly Hrudey. I'm like,
Kelly
no,
loves Kelly
I'm not
Gruber.
sure I want to admit that I'm not sure I want to admit I had a crush on Kelly Gruber.
Yeah, all the girls did with this flowing blonde locks.
Can you
Looking like
blame them?
you look like a young Dave Coulier running down the first baseline.
I know, but
Heartbreaker.
I think he had like what, or was the first one or something where he had like hit the cycle out of the franchise. I'm pretty sure he was.
There was somebody. Yeah,
And
he was like,
Yeah,
he
he
was
did.
another. He was another big name player. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was. All right, so it's fair to say that before the Jays hit their World Series streak, we were all at some level fans of the Jays.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, growing up, like you just were. Oh man, I love this summer and baseball. Oof,
There's nothing
love
more
it.
baseball than going to see a Jays game. We saw one. Was the last summer we went to a Jays game?
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've been to a Jays game,
I
since well
love
before
it.
COVID.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I forgot how much I enjoyed. How much I
love
miss
it.
it.
I forgot we tried like the poutine they had there and so much other stuff.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm curious. We had to go back because they're redoing this. They've been redoing the arena, the stadium, and
Yeah.
they're changing a bunch of the seats now to face home plate.
Finally.
Yep.
It's so weird how the seats don't face like home plate. It's so
Yeah.
weird.
So if you were sitting on like the third baseline,
Yeah.
you would be facing like outfield. You wouldn't be facing home plate.
Isn't that how
who can
most
see
of
us,
them
like,
are?
No,
I don't
usually I
think
think you have a
so.
bit more
Oh.
like I don't know, but
Because you
All
don't
right.
want to face the action, which is at home plate, right?
yeah. So it'd be nice to kind of be able to sit there and look at it, not always having to like.
Yeah.
Can we? I feel like sometimes I have to reel us back in.
You do okay.
Bring us
Carry on.
back.
Taskmaster
Look,
General.
but this is the guts. This is the oomphy guts that everybody's waiting for.
That's right.
I hope, maybe, I don't know. But
Sell it.
1992. Oh, what a
Bum, bum,
year!
bum.
1992.
We need some like music or
The
something.
year that was. The year I was born.
Right? We were born. Yeah, totally. Okay, 1992 was the Canada's first World Series title.
Spoiler.
So, after the 1991 season had ended, the Blue Jays acquired pitcher Jack Morris, who had led the Minnesota Twins to victory in the World Series by pitching 10-inning complete game shutout in Game 7 and was named the World Series MVP. To add veteran leadership to their explosive offense, Toronto signed Dave Winfield
Dave
to be the
Winfield,
team's
yes.
designated
Whoa.
hitter.
Longtime Yankee Dave Winfield.
I love Dave Winfield. He was always just fun.
That's what I think of when I think of Dave Winfield. I think of fun.
Fun. Whimsical.
Just fun.
It's whimsy.
The 1992 regular season went well as the Jays clinched their second straight AL East crown with a final record of 96-66.
And play
Good
those
old
numbers.
Cito Gaston.
Whoa.
That's right. See, yeah, really underneath his tutelage.
Right? He was awesome. All right. The Blue Jays met the Oakland Athletics in the ALCS, winning 4-2. The pivotal game of the series was Game 4, considered by many to be one of the most important games in Blue Jays history. Do you guys remember that game?
Hell yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
That
I do.
was like the comeback.
It
Yeah.
was. It
Yeah.
was.
That was Roberto Alomar's like home run there, ardms in the air.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it says the Blue Jays rallied back from a 6-1 deficit after 7 innings, capped by the Roberto Alomar's huge game-tying 2-run homer off of Dennis Eckersley. I remember him.
Dennis Eckersley. I haven't heard that name in forever.
In
Big
the
cat.
top of the ninth. This paved the way for a 7-6 victory in 11 innings, a 3-1 lead in the series, and an eventual 4-2 ALCS series win.
They deserve to win after that. Like that's a huge
Oh, yeah.
comeback.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
And
I forgot about that.
remember that game. Like, this was like peak, like, everything stopped to watch these games.
Oh yeah.
It
Well,
was like a
there's
thing.
nothing better than having a team in the playoffs. Like,
I remember
it's
where I
so
was for
much
that
fun
game.
and exciting. Like,
Yeah.
you just watch everyone's paying attention to the game.
Yeah.
Like people are, bandwagon whatever, but like it's just fun. Everyone gets into it.
Yeah,
I
I,
used
I
to-
was at my grandma's for dinner that game, and she actually said like dinner was ready to go.
Yeah.
but
You
said
we're
no.
watching the game. Like, it's true. I felt bad now, but she's like, dinner's ready. And we're like,
Get out!
not to that extreme, but basically,
would.
Yeah.
we're all like, we can't. We're like watching the game. Like this is
Because
crazy.
it was
Yeah.
like a Sunday or Saturday afternoon game. I remember that. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong, but no. I mean, me and my dad were like glued to the TV. Even my mom was watching, and she could have cared less.
That's what's fun with baseball.
Yeah.
Like any team, when you get into the playoff, like everybody gets into
Yeah.
it. So it's just like a whole atmosphere. It's fun. Fun.
Then the Blue Jays then faced the Atlanta Braves in the World Series.
Whoa.
Our first World Series.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Atlanta Braves. The Braves returned after being beaten by the Twins the previous year. Ooh, so the Braves were hungry.
The Braves were like one of the teams of the 90s.
Oh yeah, the
Ooh.
Braves. They were a
They
good
were
baseball
hungry.
team.
They were a
Yeah,
good baseball
yeah,
team.
Yeah.
Sorry, Braves. Not sorry.
That's right. Not good enough today, fellas.
No.
But here's where it gets a little interesting. Obviously, we know the outcome of the series, but here's a couple little like games that were sort of memorable, shall we say. The pivotal game in this series turned out to be Game 2, in which reserve player Ed Sprague, I remember
Shout out
him,
to Ed Sprague.
hit a ninth inning 2-run home run off Braves closer Jeff Reardon to give the Blue Jays a 5-4 lead, which would hold up. But do you guys remember the controversy of that game?
The controversy of Game 2?
Has something to do with the Canadian flag.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was
You
upside
don't
down,
remember?
right?
The
Oh, the upside down flag.
When
Canada
they came out,
flag.
when they came out for like the anthem or whatever, they came out with all the
Yes.
flags. That was upside down.
I forgot about that.
It was
There was no mistake.
huge because it was they were in Atlanta, so everybody had conspiracy theories. Like, it was a huge deal.
They weren't conspiracy. It's true. It was done on
Well,
purpose. They're trying to rattle us.
It's true. It was
let me-
a slight-
Rattle a nation.
So here's a little commentary that I got from the internet, and it's just funny to read how, like, I don't know, biased or unbiased this little thing was. But it's called the Upside Down Flag Controversy. The date was October 18th, 1992, and the series remained in Atlanta going into Game 2 against the Braves. Spirits weren't exactly flying high for the Blue Jays entering Game 2 at Turner Field, and their home flag wasn't flying properly either. Due to a bit of miscommunication, the Canadian flag was flown upside down.
What kind of miscommunication happens there?
But
There's like just
wait.
one person that hangs it up. Like,
There's more.
guess.
But wait, there's more.
Okay.
During the singing of the national anthems, the U.S. Marine Corps flew both the U.S. and Canadian flags, but due to a gaffe by the flag holder, the Canadian maple leaf was upside down. But to add insult to injury, Canadian singer, Life is a Highway,
Tom Cochran.
I wanna ride it, stumbled through singing the Canadian national anthem as he messed up a few lines. All in all,
no, Tom,
not a good night for
No.
Canada.
I don't know if I remember that. I don't know if I remember
I don't
Tom
remember that.
Cochran. He was overshadowed by the flag incident.
He should have just stopped singing the song and just cut it into big leagues.
So there was all this controversy about it and like, oh, this and that and yada, yada, yada. They did it on purpose. But the explanation is simply that the Marine Corps only had the standard issue American and Marine Corps flags prepared to fly, and that the Canadian flag was provided by stadium officials mere moments before they were to go on the field. Interestingly enough, though, interestingly enough, an upside down flag is an international sign of distress, but it didn't seem to affect the Blue Jays as they won Game 2 of the
Cool as a
series.
cucumber, boys.
5-4. RT will not be shook.
It's just fed the fire.
So
right.
that I remember watching that on TV because this was a nighttime game because I was allowed to stay up like on a weeknight to watch these games.
See, again, the best thing about
It was.
playoff baseball is that you get to do some of that
Half
stuff
the
late.
time I would fall asleep on the couch, but I remember this was a nighttime game. I remember that because it was at night, like it was late. And
Yeah.
I remember my dad being like, "Oh my gosh!" But I don't remember the Tom Cochran.
That Tom Cochran.
Oh my gosh.
P.S. My dad does not enjoy Tom Cochran songs.
What?
He hates
What?
"Life Is a Highway."
Is it because of how he sang the national anthem?
No, just that song was okay. Let's be real. That song was overplayed so much on the radio.
A little bit.
That's all. Yeah, that was a
Can Con.
massive song. Yeah.
So that was just a fun little controversy of. So it's only Game 2, and we're already like, conspiracy theory.
That's right. Well, hey, if we had done that to the American flag,
Yeah.
we'd been hell to pay.
Oh God.
So really quickly, after winning Game 3, thanks to Candy Maldonado, Game 4, due to Jimmy Key's superb pitching
Jimmy
effort,
Key.
he retired. Oh, I love Jimmy Key. He retired 15 straight batters.
That's impressive.
The Jays could not win the series on home turf as the Braves struck back with a 7-2 win in Game 5.
Oh, those Braves.
That was so
I
sad.
hate them so much.
Knowing that we couldn't win on home turf because we all knew we were winning.
Well, it's like anything. You always want to hope you're,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You always want your team to win at home. It's different.
But
Exactly.
this is where it happens. Game 6, October 24th, 1992 in
Halloween.
Atlanta.
Set the stage for us, Kels.
Ready?
Tell us.
Game 6, October 24th, 1992 in Atlanta. With the Blue Jays leading 3-2 was a very close game. ASMR. Toronto was one strike away from winning in the bottom of the ninth, 2-1, but Otis Nixon singled in the tying run off the Blue Jays closer, Tom Hankey.
The Terminator.
It was the first run the Toronto bullpen had given up in the series. The game was decided in the 11th inning when Dave Winfield doubled down the left field line, driving in 2 runs. The Braves would again come within 1 run in the bottom of the 11th, but Jays reliever Mike Timlin also loved his hair, fielded Otis Nixon's bunt, throwing to Joe Carter at first base for the final out. Is that how they won?
I'm laughing about your Mike Timlin hair comment.
Is that how they won?
Mike Timlin, nice pitch, better hair.
Was that how they won the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
That
not.
was anticlimactic.
It wasn't as good as 93.
No, it wasn't
Oh.
as. Yeah. That was.
It was close though. Like Otis Nixon he was fast.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Some people say like he beat the throw, but he didn't. No.
Well, here, the Blue Jays became the first team based outside of the United States to win the World Series. Pat Borders, the Jays catcher, was the unlikely player who was named MVP after hitting .450 with 1 home run in the World Series.
Wow, 450.
He was on
Damn.
fire. I remember
He came out of nowhere that playoff.
As
Yeah,
a
I remember that.
catcher?
Because he was like an average hitter
And a
all
catcher.
season.
Catcher,
Yeah, you don't, not one of the guys that you usually expect a whole lot
He had
from.
an
So
Yeah.
epic like mullet. It was.
it was sweet, like that sweet, like dusty stash.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
man.
did. My sister was in love with Pat Borders. I don't know why. Team record for 1992 was 96 wins and 66 losses. So
That's
that
it.
was like so exciting.
Oh yeah, having the Jays win the World Series was crazy.
Yeah,
It was insane.
It
It
was.
didn't seem like it was possible.
How can this be?
Now, admittedly enough, I get the 2 years mixed up because it happened back to back. So
Spoiler alert, if you didn't know again.
But I
Yeah.
get the 2 years mixed up, and I feel like I remember almost like 92 was cool, but I feel like 93 kind of overshadowed 92, and it was like the bigger deal.
Well, because I mean, winning the first time is huge, but repeating that's
True.
That's massive. And then because there was a lot of big moments there too, like
93 was a way more dramatic win.
It was
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I mean, epically.
yeah, the way it all
Yeah.
went down was not.
I'm pretty sure that there was like going into the 93 season because we were champions. It was like, the crowds were bigger, the hype was real. Like,
well,
it was
no,
crazy.
now it's you've done it once, now do it again. And yeah, there's a lot of more pressure and expectations on what you do.
There was a little bit of sad news to begin 1993.
What happened?
What happened was, after the 92 season, the Blue Jays let World Series hero Dave Winfield and longtime closer Tom Hankey go. Tom Hankey was the shit. Like, he
How?
would come out and literally throw 2 pitches.
Oh yeah, I remember he had the
That was his
but he had the
job.
Oh, yeah.
glasses and stuff. He looked, didn't look that intimidating. He was a big
No.
dude, Joe. I think
He was
wasn't
tall.
But he was like
Yeah,
kind
the
of dorky,
Terminator.
but the Terminator, and they played that music when he came up. But he
Yeah.
would literally, his job was to throw literally 2 pitches.
Well, no, he's a closer,
Yeah.
so it's,
Yeah.
he's there for like
He finishes the job, and that's it.
like he's,
He's
not
like-
there to pitch half a game. It's
Exactly.
like get in there and
He throws 2
finish
strikeouts,
this,
and that's
yeah.
it.
He's like
Yeah.
Harvey Specter from Suits, the closer.
that's
You don't watch that show.
No, I don't. But coffee's for closers. I know
It's
that.
the Meghan Markle show.
Oh.
it's also like one of the. It's like that show is insanely
It's
popular
really
on like
good.
Netflix. Like it's crazy. It's like the most popular show on the platform.
And it was
I gotta watch it.
probably because Meghan Markle, but it was filmed all in Toronto.
That's right.
Well, most of it was, but
Yeah, I remember
it's a
that.
good
Was,
show.
yeah,
And Harvey Specter is.
So props to Toronto, 1993 World Series champions and home of Suits.
that's right.
And Harvey
2 reasons to
Specter.
come visit us up here.
But they let Dave Winfield and Tom Hankey go, but they did sign 2 key free agents: designated hitter Paul Molitor and Dave Stewart.
Oh yeah, both of those guys came at the same time.
They were
right?
really good, yeah.
Damn.
I always get Paul Molitor and Rance Mulliniks mixed up because they're both old.
These guys are
They're
all
not even
now.
close.
Really?
Yeah, Paul Muller and Rich Mulliniks. Have you seen them? They're 2 totally different looks.
I know, but they're kind of the
What's
same.
wrong with you?
They're like they're both slight men. Like,
Slight men.
Oh, Muller was like stocky and like
Yeah, he had,
Really?
he had forearms like a lumberjack.
No,
he was
he
like Paul Bunyan.
didn't.
Yeah, he did.
Like, he looked
Okay.
like
for
I forget his name.
for
now.
those of you watching on YouTube, we'll put up a Paul Molitor and Rance Mulliniks because maybe I'm forgetting who they are.
I
We'll
think
put
you
up a
might be.
picture.
I think you might be way
you're
off.
getting them mixed up
All
with
right.
somebody
Yeah.
else.
I take that back. It's
But you
real.
can think whatever, but I don't
Yeah.
think they looked alike
Who
at
am I
all.
No.
thinking of then?
Maybe Paul Molitor and like Ed Sprague or somebody.
No,
like
no. It was somebody with Rance Mulliniks. Wasn't there like an older guy that
Ernie Witt.
was Paul Molitor the designated hitter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then that's who I'm thinking of.
Oh
Okay.
boy. Okay. Well,
Weird.
Yeah, no. That's
you're
the whole-
free to have your own opinion there, but you're wrong.
No.
All right. In 1993, the Blue Jays had 7 All-Stars. I mean, come on, guys. The rating was
The
just on
team was
wall.
pretty stacked.
It
Like,
was
the Jays were
huge.
like a good, they were a really good team back then.
Yeah.
Outfielders Devon White, Joe Carter, infielders John Olerud and Roberto Alomar, designated hitter Molitor, plus starting pitcher Pat Henkin and closer Dwayne Ward. But in August, the Jays acquired former nemesis, dun dun dun, Ricky Henderson
That's
from
right.
the
I forgot him.
Athletics.
Another speedy.
He was the base stealer
Speedy,
guy,
yeah.
right?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, we're almost through our papers.
Good.
I had cheat sheet notes. Are you bored?
No.
Are you bored? The Blue Jays cruised to a 95-67 record, 7 games ahead of the New York Yankees. Ooh, take
Yes,
that,
it's always nice to
Yankees.
beat the Yankees.
Oh, eat it, Yankees.
Yeah, winning their 3rd straight division titles. So yeah.
They had a hell of a run back in those 90s, the Jays. Man, oh man.
So like Eric said earlier, this World Series was a little bit more epic and exciting as far as the games went. There was a lot of stuff that happened in the games. So it featured several exciting games, including Game 4, played under a slight rain,
A slight rain. Someone could have slipped.
in which the Blue Jays came back from a 14-9 deficit to win 15-14 and take 3 games to 1 lead in the series. It remains the highest scoring game in
That
World
is an
Series
insane
history.
score.
It's
Yeah.
like a softball score.
Yeah, I know. That's like beerly. That's crazy.
I remember that game going on for like 6 hours. Like it was ridiculous.
That's
it was
crazy.
so
though.
long.
Come back 14-9. Well,
Yeah. Or maybe not. That was a different game. But in Game 6, Toronto saw the Blue Jays lead 5-1, but gave up 5 runs in the 7th inning to trail 6-5. In the bottom of the 9th inning, Joe Carter hit a 1-out, 3-run walk-off home run to clinch the series off of Philly closer Mitch Williams. Only the 2nd World Series winning walk-off home run in the history of Major League Baseball.
it
Beautiful.
still gives you chills watching that
Before-
replay, the highlights. That was crazy.
Before
that
we
head.
talk about watching that, I just want to, like, a really epic thing that happened at that game. So, obviously, we have radio broadcasters that broadcast the game, and it was Tom Cheek and Jerry Howarth.
Oh,
We used to love listening to them.
I can hear it. When it just
They were epic, like epic. I think they were doing broadcasting radio for the Jays, like, since they started. Like,
I think they were the
that's
original. Yeah.
how epic they
But
were.
the call for Joe Carter was
So,
it's history, man.
we'll try and insert it in here. It'll probably be copyrighted or something. I don't know. But anyway, this is how he called the end of the game. And R.I.P. to Tom Cheek. He did pass away a couple of years ago, I think it was.
What are you looking at me
Why are you
for?
looking at me? But he passed away, right?
No, I don't know. I can't
Eric said
guarantee
he
that.
did, but then
What
said
are
he
you
didn't know.
talking
So I'm
about?
pretty sure he passed away.
No, I'm pretty
We
sure.
should probably verify this. Let's look it up right now,
Okay,
real
look
quick.
it up.
Eric can Google it while Kelly prepares her
My
voice.
phone's
to,
recording my face.
Oh, that's right. We can't. My iPhone's right there.
All right.
One other, another. We got 3 iPhones recording us
Okay, but
plus our other
Eric,
camera.
I'm going to read this. So if you find out the information first, don't interrupt it.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
so Kelly's going to do her best Tom Cheek reenactment of
Let's
calling
see
the World Series
if I can
home
be
run from Joe Carter
a
in
radio
1993.
broadcaster.
Let's go for it. You got it.
A swing and a belt, left field, way back. Blue Jays win it. That's not good. The Blue Jays are World Series champions as Joe Carter hits a 3-run home run in the 9th inning, and the Blue Jays have repeated as World Series champions. Touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life.
That's right. Touch 'em all, Joe. That was it.
That was epic. That's still today now. It's like touch 'em all, Joe.
Oh, yeah. And your aunt was at that game. I remember you saying that, right?
I have a couple stories about that World Series year. Did we find out yet, Eric?
Oh, yes, he did pass away.
When did he pass away?
Eric's not checking his email.
2005.
Yeah,
Eric's
so
checking his Facebook.
I know, right? I'm
I
like,
got some important stuff to check up on.
You have to his Facebook status
I got cat
doing a
memes.
podcast.
so he did
Same.
pass away more than a couple years ago, but I think it was from cancer or something. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
was, yeah.
it's too bad. R.I.P. Tom
But
Cheek.
Tom and Jerry, I just got that.
Oh,
Tom
boy.
and Jerry.
Oh, boy.
But they were great. Like, they were really good, and they had those epic voices, and they're just synonymous with.
Well, these
Blue Jays
voices
baseball.
come synonymous with the sport and the team.
Is
Yeah,
Jerry still doing it? I feel like Jerry's still doing it.
I don't know. Now it's all
Are you looking
changed
for me
over.
don't know.
for stat?
Kelly should just not ask rhetorical questions.
It was
Save us all,
rhetorical.
just save us some, help us.
But really quickly, to bookend the fact-finding part of this episode, Mulder was named the World Series MVP after hitting 500 in the series, so he was a good pickup.
Yeah, 500. That's
Damn.
In the regular season, 3 Blue Jays, Olerud, Mulder, and Alomar finished 1-2-3 for AL batting crown, led by Olerud's franchise record 363 average. It was the first time in 100 years that the top 3 hitters in the league were from the same team.
That's crazy. Yeah,
That's
so the
awesome.
Jays were they were a powerhouse team in the
Huge.
90s
Yeah.
and stuff like that. You kind of forget about some of these names, like not that you forget about them, but like all
yeah, they were
all these different
amazing.
guys. Like
The team record in 93 was 95 wins and 67 losses.
Damn, good team.
and back-to-back World Series. It was amazing.
That, so now that we that reminded me of a lot of stuff because it's hard. It gets mushy when it's like,
Well, I mean, it's a long time ago.
Forever
we were
many
pretty
years
little
ago.
for some of it. You know, even when they we were still pretty young when they won these things, so it's
Yeah.
Do you guys remember where you were? I mean, it was probably at your house, but like watching the Joe Carter home run.
yeah.
Did you watch it? Were you watching it?
Oh, yeah, I was watching the game.
I'm
watching
sure it was
it.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just I would have been at home.
Yeah.
Or
I
a
remember.
Steve's really 75
Yeah,
years
I was
old.
watching at home. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know. I just didn't know if you. I realized once I asked that we were like, kids, not.
Yeah, I was at
like,
my parents' house
it
watching it on
wasn't
TV.
last year. We were probably all
Yeah.
in our pajamas after having our bath.
I wasn't at the game. I know that much.
They're definitely not at the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like Steve mentioned earlier, I was the biggest Blue Jay fan by this point. Like, I had.
You're full blown in your addiction to Blue
I
Jays.
was. I had gone to a couple of games at that point. Because back then buying tickets for a game was like a big deal. Like, it's expensive. I mean, it's expensive,
still expensive
now.
now, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was just different. It was a bigger deal, at least for my family. My dad hated going to Toronto, but he went for the Jays.
Your dad sounds like a real treat.
But
Some conquering Toronto.
my aunt got gifted or won or somebody gave her
Cricket
tickets.
poker game.
Gave her tickets to Game 6 of the World Series
Wow,
in
that-
'93.
Whoa.
And she was like, I mean, everybody was a fan, but she was definitely a bandwagon fan, not like me. She didn't bring me. She brought.
At least there's no sour grapes here. That's the most
Yeah.
important
There's
thing.
not.
It's good
You're-
to see
you're the
that
bigger person for
I
moving on.
was so
Yeah.
mad,
So-
but she went to the game. They won, and she said that there has never been anything more epic that she experienced being there.
As a sports fan,
No.
a walk-off home run to win a World Series
Yeah.
at home,
You can't
I
top
don't know.
that.
No,
No.
very few sports things
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, exactly.
because not just winning, but like a walk-off home, like they said was the second one in 100 years.
Yeah.
Like
now
that would be
And then
insane.
you're in this stadium with like 50,000 screaming
Yeah.
fans,
Yeah.
like just electric.
oh,
Now-
it would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will also say she did buy me a program from that game.
And you still have it, I hope.
No, my mom threw everything out. I had everything, and my mom threw it all out. My mom's like savage.
That's awful.
The girl who
I
had
know.
everything into her mom threw it out.
I had like
Sounds like a
baseball
movie.
cards, like everything. But I don't know. I also have, I do like have a quick story about the Blue Jays, but I don't know if we've been talking too long. So, do we have time for a little story by me? I know I talk a lot, but I can be quick.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, this is an epic story. So I don't know if it was 92, 93. It was somewhere in that World Series era because all those players were on the team. It was the regular season. I was part of a youth group. We all, like, there was about 15 of us that went to the Jays game. We all got in our little youth group van. It's very 90s.
Was it a specific youth group van? It wasn't just a van.
Was it young? Was it young capitalists? Oh.
And we went to the Jays game and we sat way up in the nosebleeds. So it was fun because we were up in the nosebleeds. Because they were like $5 back then. It was dirt cheap. Nobody else was around us. We were right over top of Joe Carter, who was in right field. If you're looking at the field?
Yeah.
So right field, Joe Carter was playing at that time. And we spent the whole entire game screaming at the top of our lungs down to Joe Carter, being like, Joe Carter, Joe Carter. He eventually looked up and waved. He did. He waved to us.
Oh.
So we were all like losing our mind because of that. Like Joe Carter acknowledged us even though we're literally like 8,000 feet in the air.
Still,
but
it's
anyway,
cool.
it was. So we're leaving the game, all excited because of that. And the chaperones that had taken us there were, they got lost easily. So we're walking through the stadium to try and find where the van was parked because we were actually parked in the Sky Dome parking lot underneath.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. There's like parking.
So we were trying to take elevators. He had no idea where we were going. We were all just excited. We were like, yeah. So we go down. He finds these doors. We go down these doors. We're walking down this little staircase. And as we're walking down the staircase, there's like doors at each like there's some doors on the landings.
Yeah, they're like levels of the parking garage.
Yeah. We thought, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going down, and then there was this one red door, and it had like a window pane in it. You could see through it. And I don't know what part or what area it was, but it was like the Blue Jays locker room because there was like, you could see people in there. There was like players in there, and it was
Like
weird.
their locker room, really?
I don't know if it was their locker room. It was somewhere
Did
where
you
they
see
were.
men in towels?
No, that's my point. Is like, it wasn't like, but it was somewhere in their clubhouse.
Yeah,
part.
yeah. Like
And
they
it
were in the
was,
layer.
so what we found, so it was a red door. So what
Note
we
to
found
self.
out, right?
By
So
the red door at Sky Dome.
so we kept walking and we were like, oh my God, that's so-and-so. And then the chaperones were like, no, it's not. Don't be crazy. So we exit. So where that level was, that landing and that door was, we walked out into the parking garage right from there. So we're walking through the parking garage. It's like trying to wrangle kittens, a whole bunch of like preteens walking through.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like, other people come out the door behind us and we're like, whatever. And then we're walking and fun fact, Roberto Alomar used to live in the Skydome Hotel.
That's right.
So we're walking and we're like, look at that car. It's covered up with a tarp. Like, weird, super cool. We go and had like a nameplate on the wall and it said Roberto Alomar. What? So we're like, oh my God, it's Roberto Alomar's car. We're like, this is the greatest day ever. As we're walking, there's people, like I said, who come out the door. So we later find out it was like their exit door from the clubhouse to go to the parking garage. And it was, I can't remember the name. Was it Devon White? Maybe it was. I can't remember. It was one player that we knew really well was walking out that door through the parking lot with his wife or girlfriend, whoever it was at the time, just walking through the parking lot. And a whole bunch of us were like, what? This is so weird. Then as we're walking, well, no, because he was kind of like, I don't know, it was weird. We were all just like, what's going on? And then we saw all the parking spots for like Joe Carter.
So you managed to get to like the team parking.
Yeah.
Did you meet anybody? Or
well, we kind of did, but again, like our chaperone, I keep saying chaperone, but the adults who were with us were like kind of like, oh shit, we're not supposed to be here. Let's like not create a scene.
Yeah.
Just in case they're like, what's going on?
Made a wrong turn somewhere.
And I think they were just freaked out they were going to get arrested or something. But anyway, so we saw a couple players. A couple of them did wave. Like we didn't talk to them or anything like that, but it goes down as one of the greatest nights of my life. It was so amazing. Like, what
Seeing Brown's car would be pretty sweet.
And seeing Devon White with his soup de jour.
Soup de jour. And I think it was Derek Bell was on the team then, and he was like the rookie guy, maybe. I don't remember. It's foggy of when it was, but it was amazing. It was so awesome. And I still tell the story to this day because it was such a, like, fluke that it happened.
Well, no, yeah. It sounds like you just totally, like, Did you find your youth group van or whatever you
We did.
went in?
It was on a completely different level, but somehow, like I said, it was pretty cool. And like I said, nobody, like, I think the adults were kind of like, oh shit, let's just go.
Yeah. Well, because that makes sense. I mean, obviously the players have to drive to work, right?
Yeah.
It's their job. So, but yeah, they'd have some sort of like separate parking. So that's really cool.
I don't know. It was a really cool story. And
I've never parked under the Skydome. I know there's parking there, but I've always just parked on the
in the parking lot where everyone else parks.
Yeah.
As the years go on,
you need a special van or something like that.
As the years go on, the details get a bit fuzzy, but yeah, it was pretty cool. And
that is really neat.
That story. I just remember, like, I can picture it in my head, and it was really, really cool.
Yeah, I've never met a Blue Jay player ever.
No.
Not that I can recall. No.
I was also a Junior J super fan.
That's right, Junior J, which anyone, obviously, if they don't know, that's like the fan club for kids.
It's like the fan club for kids.
The Junior J's club.
Now, like,
it's still going.
Did they like revoke your membership at 18?
No, I'm still a member.
Oh.
Now,
blood
like,
in, blood out, you're in for life.
Now it's like, kids can run the bases and all this stuff. I think back then it was like literally you got like a coloring book or something. Like it wasn't anything.
Yeah, if you go to a game, they have like.
Because I think you can pay to be a member.
Like days, I think, or something like that. But yeah, you can like.
Yeah.
I think every game kids can run the bases or something like that.
I
would have loved that as a kid.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was super
I would
cool.
do it now.
Yeah, I know. I really want to do that, actually.
It was really, really quickly because I feel like I've told too many stories, but I was a super fan.
I had a friend that was a bat boy for the Jays when I was in high school.
What?
That's exciting.
Yeah, a buddy of mine, he was a bat boy for the Jays, which I thought was crazy. It's like, he made a ton of money too.
Because you get tipped by
everyone tipped him like hundreds of dollars in cash at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Damn.
He been there for one season. Like, that's so cool, man.
That would be really, really cool.
Did he get hit by a ball or anything?
No.
No.
Lucky. He's one of the lucky ones then.
Yeah. What?
I don't remember, but I was just really jealous of him. That is a really cool job.
Eric, do you have any fun stories?
For the Blue Jays?
Yeah.
Just watching them win.
Do you remember your first game you went to?
Yep. It was 1993. I went. I remember because it was free lunchbox day.
Oh dear.
The first 10,000 fans. Got it was a lunchbox with like a fake autograph. The whole team had like autographed the lunchbox. It was obviously like an auto pen. It wasn't real autographs, but I got that.
Sweet.
Well, I mean, Eric, I'm a little.
I had it up until recently when Kelly's mom threw it out. She throws all the stuff.
I'm sad for you that your first game was 93, but I mean, you're forgiven because you're from a small little town, so to make the big trek to Toronto would have been a big deal.
My godfather took me.
Your parents didn't even take you?
My parents were there too.
I mean, my first game was like in 1986 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that was just because, it was the same thing. I think we got cheap tickets or some of that. And then,
but then I went a few times once the...
Yeah, I remember going like during their heyday, like...
Yeah.
It must have been 93. I went.
Yeah.
It was at the Skydome because we were way up in the nosebleeds and it was full house. But it must have been like 93 because I remember getting like a pennant and stuff like that. But it was a World Series one.
Yeah.
So I think it was after their first one.
Did you show up in a van with a bunch of weird kids too?
Okay.
No, I wish I did.
Stop.
Some players or something.
Stop making fun of my story. It's a good. You're all just jealous.
I am.
Yeah.
I wish I had pictures. That would have been amazing.
Well, that's the beauty of now. Like, we talk a lot on this channel about old versus, back in the day versus today.
I would have killed.
Having an iPhone makes it super handy because, you'd never have photos of anything back in the day.
All right, Eric, but I think you got something for us.
Oh, it's time. It's quiz time.
Quiz time.
Who's ready? We're going to test your Jay's knowledge right now.
Oh, no. Now I feel pressure.
I'm terrible, so.
It depends on, if it's statistical knowledge, I don't remember.
This is stats, man.
Damn.
You wrote down the stats on your little notebook, you said.
know.
Yeah, you should crush this. I will do terrible because I know nothing about the Jays.
Now
All right.
I'm nervous. I'm going to suck, and then you guys are going to laugh at me.
So
They're all
what?
going to laugh at you.
Okay, I'm going to do my very best.
Okay, so give me the top 5 Blue Jays home run hitters of all time.
Of all time?
Yeah, all time.
Are you talking
Okay.
about home runs in their career or home runs as a Blue Jay?
Home runs as a Blue Jay.
Okay, I'm going to
Doesn't help me
say...
at all, but
Okay,
Can you name 5 players?
I'll go
I can
first.
name 5
I'll
players.
go
All right.
first. I'll go first.
All right.
Joe Carter. Oh no. Who are power hitters?
So you got one guess, Joe Carter.
Dave Winfield. Who's the new guy? The I forget his name. The junior guy.
Ken Griffey Jr.?
No, the guy who's on the team now.
Vladdy Guerrero Jr.
Vladdy. I picked Vladdy.
Okay, that's your third guess.
I pick oh my god, who is a heavy hitter? I don't know, Roberto Alomar. I know there's probably some newer guys.
You got one more guess.
I'm going to say oh damn it, I don't know. Rance Mullinix.
Rance Romance.
I
all
know
right,
there's some
fifth
newer
guess.
guys on there.
Yeah,
All right, that's your
turn it up,
5.
man. That's
Okay.
tough.
All right, Steve.
I'm trying to be quick because nobody wants pauses, so I'm
I'll
trying to
reveal
be
the winner, or how many you got right after Steve guesses.
All right, I'm gonna say, I don't know if he made. I'll say Paul Muller because we were just talking about him.
Okay.
I have no idea what he did. How about Jose Canseco? One of the Bash Pros. I don't think he'd be on there.
He was
but
a J for a while
He
in
was
the
a J
90s.
for a while, but I can't remember. I don't think he would be up there.
Okay, it's your second guess.
People don't like dead air.
Josh Donaldson,
Oh, Donaldson.
Oh, that's a good guess.
I forgot.
Edwin Encarnacio,
Encarnacion.
Okay, that's your 4th guess.
and let's go with. I don't think it's gonna be Guerrero Jr. I don't think he's played long
I
enough.
think you need an older Jay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of an older Blue Jay from the mid-90s or some of that. Let's go Alomar.
Alomar, okay.
Oh,
Did I win?
man.
Did I win?
No, you tied.
Damn it. Really?
On different guys. You didn't say Joe Carter, did you?
No.
No.
No,
I
if you
did.
would have won if you said Joe Carter.
Oh, I didn't say Joe Carter.
Because
I
Steve guessed
did.
Edwin Encarnacion.
Yeah.
So here's the top 5.
Okay.
Ready? Number 1, Carlos Delgado.
Forgot
shit,
about
I
Carlos
forgot about that.
Delgado.
336 home runs as a Blue Jay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jose Bautista.
Oh my gosh.
Bat flip.
Bat flip.
I only know 90s
Bat
Jays,
flip.
okay?
288 home runs.
Oh my god.
288.
Yeah.
Edwin Encarnacion, number 3.
Oh my god.
That's your guess?
Yeah, I didn't
At
think Bautista.
239. Vernon Wells was
Oh my god.
223 home runs.
Yeah,
It's all
Jesus.
newer players.
And then the top 5, right in the
Newer
top
guys
5
like
was
the 90s.
Joe Carter.
Joe Carter.
I got
right?
one.
203. Rounding out the top 10 was George Bell, Jesse Barfield, Lloyd Mosby, Adam Lind, and Ernie Witt.
So they were
Ernie
all
Witt,
lower.
geez.
So
Yep.
here's the thing. Right now there is so many people. Like if our friend's listening to this, he's actually gonna want to reach through and strangle us that we didn't get Jose
Well,
Bautista.
we'll know if he watches or not.
Like,
if he says anything, we won't tell him about it.
I'm actually embarrassed we missed Jose Bautista. What is wrong with us?
Bautista, Joe Carter too. Yeah.
I got Joe
Yeah.
Carter, but
Honestly, I forgot about Vernon Wells until I saw that list.
Yeah, I did too.
Was he Vernon Wells?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He was like the team in like the 2000s.
He was
there.
like the 2000s era. Yeah.
But I'm embarrassed about Bautista. That's just ick.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's not
Because
cool.
he was like the.
Apologize to everyone watching.
I know he was
Not
like
like I should. I'm fine. I'm
he
cool.
was like the newer Joe Carter. He had that like bat flip moment. Like he
He
was
was
win, but,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know. Okay, so now that we did the quiz, I guess we have to answer the question that we started this with. Eric,
Yep.
were the Blue Jays the best team of the 90s?
They were my favorite team in the 90s. I can't say they're the best team in the 90s though, because the Braves, the hated Atlanta Braves, they went to the World Series 5 times.
Yeah, but they
in
didn't
the 90s.
win.
They won once.
Okay, once.
They won once, they won 5 times. So as a Buffalo Bills fan, I can
I was gonna
appreciate making it not
heart.
winning. It's all heart. So
I was
I'm
gonna
gonna
say.
say I think it's the Braves, the team of the 90s.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Steve, what about you?
If we're just talking baseball,
Well, yeah, just baseball.
You know what? I'll give it to the Jays. I'll say, yeah, in terms of that was a back-to-back World Series like that. That's a massive accomplishment. So in terms of just being for the baseball team, sure, I'll say they were the best of the 90s.
I don't feel a lot of heart, but 100% the Jays were the best team in the 90s. It might have been the early 90s, but they were, because again, they were a relatively...
They were the young upstarts.
Well, no,
by that point.
They were, well, no, they were still a
years,
relatively new franchise. I mean, they were only like 13 years old, 14 years old.
They were newer.
And a lot of the stuff that happened, like, was all, like, in sync, and it worked. Like, those people and trades they did, it all panned out.
Well, just going through it, like, you can see them getting better and better. Yeah.
I think Cito Gaston was, like, definitely, like, an amazing coach, and he was in his prime, and he did a lot of great things. And, I mean, Canada doesn't get a lot, so...
Well, that's true, too. I mean, the fact that, like, you know, coming out of Toronto, I'm sure, I don't remember much, but I'm sure there was a lot of people saying, no way in hell this trophy's ever going... Same thing with the Raptors. Right? No way this trophy's ever going north of the border, and we did it twice.
But
twice.
I'm not finished yet.
Whoa,
I'm just kidding.
Sorry.
I'm finished. No, I'm finished. I was just going to sum it up by saying that, I mean, after that, they kind of like, you know...
Well, like most teams,
like
rebuilding, but then
like
the mid 2000s, they kind of had a resurgence there with Bautista and Donaldson. I was actually thinking Donaldson for one of my guesses, but
you did say Donaldson.
Did I say Donaldson?
Yeah.
I did say Donaldson. That's why, but I should have said it better.
Yeah.
But so they had to have the resurgence there. They made a couple of runs, and
then they had that like epically horrible Fire Gibby years.
Oh, the 2010s.
The 2010s. Yeah. And I feel like we're on a good trend to kind of get back there again. I think.
I hope so.
Back to Fire Gibby, I'm ready.
We got some pieces there. Manoah's back. I think he's pitching again, and sounds supposed to be doing good.
The new, or I don't know if he's new, but the current coach of the Blue Jays is pretty good looking too. Check him out.
What's his name?
Schneider?
John Schneider.
Yeah, check him out.
It just makes me think of the Dukes of Hazzard. Showing my age.
This podcast has gone way longer than we intended, so we thank you guys if you've stuck around.
Yes,
hopefully,
that was fun taking another walk down memory lane talking about the Blue Jays.
Hopefully you learned a bit of facts and, I don't know, whatever. We just rambled.
Thanks for hanging out with us again. Episode 3 is in the books.
Episode 3 is in the book. Thank you for everybody for all your support. Just remember we're on YouTube if you want to watch the behind the scenes.
Download this podcast wherever your favorite podcasts are. Wherever you guys get them, we're there.
That's right. So we thank you guys, and we will see you in the next one.
That's
Bye,
right.
guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Dance it out. Dance it out.